Like many families, we found out that lockdown was the perfect time for our 2-year-old to learn to ride his pedal bike. We'd started him out on a balance bike when he was really young, and he got to playing on his pedal bike during lockdown and soon got the hang of it. There's lots of resources out there to help you teach your children to ride, but here are some of my top tips. My number one tip for getting children to ride is that you get them to do it in their own time. Sometimes they're not in the mood, sometimes they'd prefer to do something else, but if it's their choice and they feel that they're in control of it all, it's going to happen faster. With both Charlie and Louisa, we started them out on a balance bike to allow them to get used to the feeling of balance without using their pedals. Having the balance bike seat at the right height is really crucial because you want to make sure that they can stop effectively and that they feel confident to be able to stop as well. My second tip is about how you know when it's time to move them onto a pedal bike. Some of the best small pedal bikes can act as balance bikes as well, and you just take the pedals off and allow the crank arms to move round whilst the child is using the bike itself as a balance bike. This allows them to get to grips with the concept of brakes as well as having that backup of using their feet as well. My third tip is that you get the kids to ride on all sorts of different types of surface because each one of them feels quite different. Whether you're riding on tarmac, on grass, on gravel, or even on mud, the way that you use your bike is ever so slightly different, and the sooner they get to grips with the different feeling of this, the better. Riding through grass, you often need to stay seated and put much more power through, especially if it's wet grass. Whereas riding on tarmac, you can get up to speed far quicker, and you'll need to use your brakes or freewheel much sooner as well. Riding on different types of surface really builds confidence and allows them to change between one surface and another seamlessly too. It's also great fun to try and bump up and down on grassy bits and back onto the tarmac, and it can also help with their confidence if they can learn to go off side of curbs as well. Whatever we're doing on a bike, we always try and make sure it seems fun, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. My fourth tip is you give them plenty of time and opportunity to practice, and to practice in their own way, experimenting with the bike and their own handling skills. There's going to be a few tumbles on the way as they learn the limits of what their bike can do and what they're capable of doing as well. But allowing them to learn to pick themselves up off the floor and getting straight back onto the bike definitely helps in the long run. And my final tip is that you try and get out on your bikes as a family as often as you can. It's certainly transformed our family bike rides now that we're all riding independently. And whether our rides are in a local park, on an off-road trail, or in some quiet country lanes as we did recently when we were camping, cycling is certainly a great fun way for the whole family to get around.